I hope you enjoyed that time lapse right off the top of the episode. As you can see, there was a lot of clearing that we needed to do to get ready to build our base in this clearing. Now, there's certainly still some more work that needs to be done around here before we really get into building the base up. I need to push some of these walls back a little bit more and make them curve a little bit more naturally. Because right now it just kind of looks like there's some sort of a chunk error problem that's happened in this higher corner, to be specific, and even some of these lower ones. Just looks fairly unnatural. But I think that that's something that we should be able to accomplish a lot more easily and not in the hour and a half. And shout out to Jincaedv, who came over and helped me out with making sure that we had this area cleaned out. He really took care of a lot of the stone that needed to be cleared out of here. And this is just a small example of all the blocks that were moved. The cobblestone was what was mined out by him. I was using my Silk Touch pick, so I was getting other, or just the standard stone coming out of it, which you can see if we make our way over to our chest monster of a base of operations here. All of this came from that area, as well as a bunch of this dirt and grass block that came out of there as well. Am I ever going to use this much dirt? Probably not, but we'll have to see whether or not that does anything for us. So one thing that I do want to take care of right off the start of today's episode is going to be over near the shopping district spawn type area. So let's head out that way so we can kind of showcase some work that's been done over there, as well as knock out a little bit of work in that area. So the reason we're here is actually regarding this little area that's right here. And this is a nice little castle that's being worked on by giants, but he's having a little bit of an issue underneath the ground here, as we can kind of demonstrate or get to looking at if we dig our way down a little bit here. You'll see that there are a lot of hostile mobs in just some open space around here. So we're going to want to clean this up. And torches would be a lot easier, but it does create a particle effect that I'm hoping to avoid. So what instead I thought we could do is we could come down here and try and coat some things with carpet. But I do want to at least get a torch or a lantern in my offhand so I can have the Optifine guidance there. So let me see if I can scrounge one up real quick. So I put in some pretty good work around here in terms of spawn proofing some of the main areas underneath this build, and I think that that will help at least for now. There are a couple of caverns nearby. I would need to double back once I have a bit more carpet to be fully efficient with spawn proofing around here, but I will certainly expect to double back at some point in time and fix some of the things that we're having trouble with currently. But let's at least get rid of this creeper so he doesn't sneak up on me while I'm trying to patch up the rest of this hole. And the spider as well. And then we'll get our Smite 5 sword out here, because that's really going to help us when it comes to clearing out any of the undead hostile mobs that pop up. And with that, I think we can head back home for the time being to discuss some of the items that we're looking to accomplish here. So I suppose I should talk a little bit about my plans for this area. The cactus farm has been doing quite well. As you can see where it's currently at, we are into the second chest. It's over halfway full, and that includes what we have in this hopper here. And the main reason that I wanted to get a good source of cactus going is I am planning on investing in the dye market. And I actually ran a poll in our server message channel as to what dyes people are interested in. And the top contenders are, there's a high request for some cyan, some blue, and like everyone would expect, there is a high request for black dye. And the problem with that is that there's only 2 real sources for black dye. There are ink sacs, and then there are wither roses. So what I went ahead and did as well while I was off camera is I went and got myself 6 wither skeleton skulls. I'm only going to use 3 of them for setting up some black dye, but I would like to have a beacon as well in order to do a little bit more work around here while I'm actually building everything up. That also means that I'm going to need to purchase some iron from one of the shops in town in order to build up a full pyramid. But that is kind of what my thought process is. Now, as I was saying with the cactus, it's all well and good that I have the cactus farm up and running, but the trouble that I'm having with that is I'm going to need a good source of fuel in order to smelt the cactus down to make the green dyes, which I can then combine with blue to make cyan. I have plenty of bone meal to get a lot of the other dyes that I need, but I need to be able to smelt this down. So by next episode, my plan is to have worked down this wall a little bit to the point where I will be able to install a kelp farm that will automatically harvest kelp and then send it into a smoker array as well. So we'll start working on getting some dried kelp, and then I will hopefully also be able to set up a auto dispensary type rig where it will bring me the dried kelp so I can easily and quickly craft it into kelp blocks as well. So hopefully everything goes well with that plan, as it's going to be quite an intensive array. I also, within the next couple of episodes, to get my access to the black dye that's requested, will be building a wither rose farm out in the end. So that will be quite interesting as well as I fall off my path, making my way back up to the top here. So after some contemplation, I do think that it's in my best interest to throw some TNT into my shop and see if that takes on. And this creeper farm is doing very, very well. And I've got a lot of gunpowder. So as much as I'd like to conserve some of that sand and use it for making the much needed concrete that I need for my build, I think what I'm going to end up doing is making the TNT and regathering sand where I can or where I need to. TNT is a royal pain to craft. You think you have so much material for it, and then you just realize how little you actually possess. So TNT now in stock at my shop here, and it's pricey. So you can buy a stack of TNT for 6 diamonds if you're a standard server member. If you are one of those who contributes towards the monthly server overhead, you do get it for the 5 diamonds. And I know it's not technically 20%, but these are very expensive, so I feel like that's justified. But I think that's going to be where I finish things off for today. Hopefully in the next episode, we are able to build that kelp farm that will be of high usage to us. And shortly thereafter, we'll get to work on that wither farm, as well as finally starting on the big base build. So thanks again for watching. I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.